city wakes.
Alright, so this is a review of the Atlas Athlete Pack. So it's their smallest bag. There's a larger one, the Adventure Bag. And I wanted to buy a bag that would last me a long time, and I really would just buy it and forget about bags for as long as I can. And I wanted to make sure that investment would last the longest. And so there's a few things that I judge a backpack on. It's comfort, water bottle carry, tripod carry, access, and capacity. And there's a lot of things about this bag that are very strong and some things that are not as strong. But really quickly, it is about $400 shipped from Atlas if you go to their website. And I did pay that amount, and I don't regret it. There's just a few quirks that you have to live with the bag, but other than that, it's a fantastic bag, especially if you're a hiker like me that goes on trails and climbs mountains, and they want to carry as much gear as they can comfortably. Okay, and so with that, I will jump into how I set it up, and then we can go into kind of the quirks of it. Alright, so this is the overview of the Atlas Athlete Pack. So this is the front of the bag. You have the athlete right here, just very subtle, and then the logo here. I think it's a bit reflective. It's the name, the brand, and then if you open it up, you have the logo here. So you have this is kind of the front of the bag, and then on the back there's the photo cube, and then this bag has a flap here, a pocket here, and then two side pockets, and then a main bag compartment. Like this is like a hiking bag, basically a hiking bag with a photo cube strapped to the back, but it takes part of the bag compartment here. So this comes open, so I'll push this up a bit. So this actually expands here, and it goes from, I think, like 20 liters to 30 liters, and it's pretty large. So the photo cube here, if I show you here, so that's the photo cube, and this is the access. So this right here is access to the photo from the photo cube to the main bag compartment. And then there's space in front here. Let's see if I can put it up. Okay, so here you go. So right here in front of the photo cube, this area right here, in the bag, there's space. This is the main space for the bag, and then on top of the cube. And so from here, I put my drone, which is the Spark. I have the main drone and the remote. And so that's kind of what you can squeeze into there. But that's for the main like hiking bag compartment. And there's this, like I said before, there is a flap here. I don't really put much in here, but you could, again, you could squeeze, pull this back. You can put in a drone in here, but it will be a little tight fit because it's rubbing right against the main photo cube that is just right on the back of there. And then there is a pocket here, which I think is a little bit more useful, and you can put kind of your passport or kind of documentations or whatever you need here. Okay, so that's it for the front part. If we go to the side, you got this is where you'll primarily put your tripod and I would assume a water bottle, like a large water bottle. Just to give you kind of what it is, it's like a polyester, but it's like really, pull it up here, it's really stretchy. So whatever you put in here, it'll really fit into it. It'll fit a small tripod, but if it's a larger tripod, you can use these straps here to cinch it down so that it's not going anywhere. You put one leg in, and then you put the tripod over like that. But also, you could use these. So there's the photo cube here, and then the bag part here. If you don't need to use the bag part, you can cinch it down on both ends, and that way it makes it really slim profile. So really awesome, especially if you're not using these. And you can do the same, obviously, on the other side. Okay, and so from here, you have this main flap where a lot of your knickknacks are going to go. So there is a small pocket here where you would put things that you would need kind of immediately. So right now, it has this is like for your keys. It has a key loop, but on the key loop here, I put my tools. This is the Peak Design tool one and a Night is key ring thing that I got from Home Depot, and I also have kind of the standard shutter release remote. All right, so this goes in here, and then if I flip it over here, you have another pocket right above it, and this pocket is actually a large pocket here. So this one you could easily fit, again, the drone and the remote. So the only thing about this flap is that the more you put on here, the more annoying it is flipping it up and down like this. And so I kind of keep it light. I don't really like putting things in here. And on the back end, there's another pocket here. So you have these loops that are also in the front of this. And there's a large but smaller than the front pocket here. So I put my tools in here. Okay, so that's pretty much everything outside the photo cube. So let's just jump into the back. Right here, let me flip it back. Okay, so this is the main photo. This is the back of the actual backpack. So these straps are super awesome. They're really thick. I think they're about like 3 centimeters thick. So coming from like a low pro tactic or even like a Peak Design backpack, these straps will feel amazing. And so these are hiking backpacks, and so they have this hiking strap system. So this right here will, once you have it on and if you're carrying like a large load, you can pull these down and it'll take the weight off your shoulders a lot more as well. And then you pair that with the bulky and really intense removable waist strap here. So this thing is super awesome. This is what really pulled me into purchasing this thing. You have this really thick, similar to the straps, waistband here, and it'll take a lot of the weight off your shoulders. And then on each side, you have this bag here, and I put my water bottle in here, so it fits. But I think you're supposed to put like a lens, or you can put like, if you're hiking, you can put your, okay, yeah, you can put your water bottle in here, and you'll be able to need it whenever you're hiking. You can put your lens in here, you can put snacks in here while you're hiking, and this bag will be it. And it's on both sides if you need both sides. I only use one just for my water bottle. And it is also completely removable, so there's Velcro right here, and you just pull it out. And then this back here, it's ribbed, and it'll really help circulation, and it is honestly really, really nice to have airflow come through the back here. Okay, and so for the main photo cube, it is back access, and it flips open from the bottom, and I'm not a huge fan of that. I'd rather have it open up from the side, kind of like the adventure pack, but this is also fine. So this is the main photo cube, but I want to start with the back flap. So there's some storage here, not much, and it's really tight because this part's really thin. So this is just the back part. But you have a mesh pocket here where you can put some things. I put my SD card holder, and I put just a cheapo light, like a fairy light. And you have these 2 mesh pockets here. I just put my business card here, and then here I have a backup remote and a microfiber cloth. So you can't really put much here. I wouldn't expect to put a lot there, but it is there if you need it. Okay, now for the main part. All right, so this is the main photo cube. Okay, there. Okay, so you have this main compartment here. So right now I have the 85 Sigma 1.4, and I have a Syrup Genie and my filters. So this compartment's really cool. It's really meant to hold like a 70 to 200. And if you don't need it, say that you're going really light, you just have your camera, one lens, and some accessories, you can actually pull this up, and then you have more room on the top. So this is the access point that I was showing you from the bag. And now you have all this room that you just folded up. So it's really nice, really convenient, and versatile when you need it. And if you don't need it, you have more of like the hiking aspect. So you pop this back out, put these back in, and then you have these really thick and malleable inserts. They give you a ton of these. I have so many of these. Yeah, I have an extra one here just because I'm not sure. But yeah, they're really malleable, so if it needs to bend, it does, and it makes sure that your gear is completely safe. I put my camera with a lens here, usually either the 16 to 35 here, or I usually put the 18 to 35 Sigma lens on here as well. And in terms of carry, fully loaded, you can put a 70-200 here, a 5D Mark IV, and a lens here, 16 to 35 here, and then you could squeeze in, lastly, a 100 millimeter 2.8 IS right here, and then you have some room here for possibly your filters, or you can pop your filters on the other side. So fully loaded, I would say one camera with a lens, two smallish lenses, and then a 70-200 for a full DSLR. But if you have mirrorless, obviously you can fit a lot more into it. I think this backpack is really for mirrorless, and if you have a DSLR, I would go with the Adventure Pack. It's a lot larger, but it is a lot heavier. I think it's an extra 1.5 pounds, but it has a lot more storage. So I went with the lighter one, and I usually travel light anyways, so this was kind of the one that I needed the most. All right, so that's the overview of the Atlas backpack. I really enjoy it, and I will see you guys in a second to talk about it a little bit more in depth. All right, comfort-wise, this bag is phenomenal. I've never had any other bag as comfortable as this, and it comes down to the 3 straps that I'm going to mention. So the first one is obviously the backpack straps. These are really thick, high quality, and it really helps with your shoulders. And if you have like a lot of weight in your backpack, you can use these hiking bag straps here. So when you have it on your back, you can pull these and it'll pull up the weight off your shoulders, which really helps distribute the weight. And so these were really phenomenal. I never really heard of them. So the thing about this bag is it's actually a hiking bag it's a hiking bag with a photo cube in it. And so it really shows how well it can distribute the weight with that in mind. And so this strap is amazing, but the main thing that really sold me on it was this removable waist strap. So this is like thicker than the normal strap and is actually really good at taking the weight off your shoulders. So when you tighten up the waist strap, it pulls the weight from your shoulders and puts it more towards your hips. And so that way it's way more comfortable and you could carry a lot more weight. And if you're carrying a lot of weight, it'll help distribute that weight a lot better so you can go for longer. And so comfort-wise, this doesn't really have any flaws. It even has like a metal frame that I showed earlier. The metal frame comes in different sizes. So there's medium and large. I actually wanted the medium, but it was out of stock. And I talked to the owner, and he was able to send me a experimental small frame because I am shorter. I'm 5'5", and it works really well. I think it added a little bit of weight, but I think that's included. So in total, this weight is, I think it's 3.2 pounds. And the bag I had before this was the Peak Design Everyday Backpack 30 liter. And that bag was advertised around like 3 to 4 pounds. But when you have that's like without the straps and without the inserts and when you add those in, it actually is about like 4.5 to 5 pounds. So that's really heavy, but that's not really the issue with the Peak Design bag. The Peak Design bag, the waist strap in particular did not help. It was like a really thin, kind of like a strap that you would get from a lunchbox, and you'd put it around your waist, and it kind of helped, but it was so thin, it didn't really help moving the weight towards your hips. And so that is why I moved from the Peak Design bag to this bag. It was mostly for comfort. All right, so I wanted to show how the bag looks when you have everything attached. So these are the straps here. These are the hiking straps. You just pull them down whenever you have a full load. And you also have this chest strap I didn't really talk about. It's attached to the straps here, and you can remove it, but I just leave it on like always. And then you have the waist strap here. So when you put it on, you have these, and you cinch it really tight so that all the weight goes to your shoulders. And so for reference, I am 5'5". I'm using the small frame. If I had a large frame, the frame would be all the way up here. And then this is how it looks from the side and then in the back. And so for the water bottle, I do put it on the side here just for easy access, because if you put it over here. But I'll talk about that more in the water bottle carry, which is next. All right, so this is the water bottle carry, and for reference, I use a 32-ounce Hydro Flask, so it is a bigger and fatter water bottle than your like normal Hydro Flask, which is usually like 18 ounces or something along those lines. And so I needed a bag that can handle a bigger water bottle, and the Atlas does handle it, but there are some shortcomings. And so mainly when you are using it, you can use this stretchy pocket right here, and it'll fit it fine. But the only issue is when you have it on, you can't reach it when you have it completely strapped in. And so my solution has been to use this side pocket here like I've been showing, but it's really towards, like when you have it on, it's like right on your waist. So it's really far from where it would be ideal, which would be like towards your hip. And when you have it on, you can't really reach it. And also, this bottle in particular is a really tight fit for this. So putting it in one hand is really, really difficult. And so you can hold this with one finger. Yeah, see, it's still a little difficult to put it in, but it does work, and once you get the hang of it, you can do it. It's just not a great solution, but it's a big ass water bottle, so I can't really blame them. To be honest, it's workable, and you can just carry your water bottle also, and when you don't want to, you can just put it on the side pocket and you just take it off your backpack. I just found when I was hiking, if I wanted to keep walking but also drink water, I wasn't able to do that unless I took the time and thought to pull it in and out, which was a little difficult. Okay, so there's another pillar that I found very important for me, which was tripod carry. So for reference, I'm using the Joby Gorilla Pod, but I use a carbon fiber tripod, which I'm using right now. But I can still illustrate how you use it. And so to put it in, you have to put it inside this flap. For the smaller tripods, this will just fit right in like that. But for larger ones, like the one I usually use, you have to put one leg in here, and then you take these straps. So there's these black straps here, and you basically maneuver it through the tripod. So you loosen it up, and then you go through the leg itself. You go through the legs, and you just cinch it in, and you're good to go. And that's not going anywhere. So tripod carry, coming from, it's very similar to the Peak Design one. It's okay. I wish that the stretchy part was stretchy enough that you could fit a full tripod, like the full 3 legs, a standard tripod. I know the new Peak Design tripod, that will fit right in. It just slips right in. So if you have that, this is perfect. But I wish it was just a little bit bigger, because it just needs a little bit more elasticity to fit just all 3 legs in there, and then you can just tighten it up there. But as of right now, you can only put one leg in, and then you have to maneuver the straps through. I guess it doesn't really change much, but I would like to have all 3 legs fit inside. But it works. Once you have it cinched in, it's not going anywhere. I've hiked up like 10 mountains with it, and I haven't had any issues. So it does lean your bag a bit to whatever side it is, but that's going to be natural. So either way, it's all right. All right, so access. So this bag is only access from the back. And the way that the access happens is you have the zippers, the really good zippers on the top, and then you unzip both, and then the flap actually is on the bottom. So it opens up like this. And so there's some disadvantages for that. When you take it off, it takes a whole bunch of space because likely you're standing behind it when you open it and you have to like move back and so it makes it a little awkward. I prefer like the book style and it opens up like this. And that's from the in-case Pro DSLR bag, and I actually like that format a lot better, and the Adventure Pack actually does have that, and that's probably another reason to go with that one instead if you can take the extra weight that it handles. But for me, access wasn't a huge priority. I came from the Peak Design 30-liter everyday bag, and that bag had no back access, only side access. And that's an issue because when I got to the mountain, I just took off my backpack, and I kind of wanted to see all my gear all at once, and that's really why I wanted just back access, because just seeing it all at once, I wouldn't have to think about like which side has the gear I need, and that's probably the only thing I needed. But if you really need to be able to switch your lenses without taking your backpack, this one isn't for you. This is only back access, and you can't get to your gear unless you take off your backpack. So if you do need to do that, I would look into the Peak Design and also the Pro Tactic. I don't really like those bags compared to this one, but this one really fits my needs, and I don't really need that access. So it wasn't a priority, but back access is all I need. This has it. Okay, so let's talk about some of the complaints I have about this bag where it falls a bit short. So number one is the way that it stores the laptop. So like I brought up before, to get to the laptop, you have to open this up. So from the front, you take the flap off, and there's no way for the laptop to be against your back because that's where the flap is, and that's where the photo cube is, so you can't have that go that way. So the way that they did it is there's this bag part where the hiking stuff goes. There's a flap in front of the photo cube, and that sleeve is where you put it. Basically, in front of the photo cube, over and under the front of your bag. And so, coming from a Peak Design 30-liter bag where tablet storage, passport storage, and laptop storage was well integrated, this bag just falls real short compared to that. You have to open the flap, and then you have to move all your stuff to make room for your laptop. And it only fits a 13-inch MacBook, so I initially had a 13-inch iPad that I did a lot of my work on, and it barely fit in there, and I actually moved up to like a thin and light 15-inch, and it doesn't fit in the flap. I just throw it into the main bag compartment. And also having the laptop exposed from the front, so there's no padding, because it's just the front, like a plastic part. Like this is all that's stopping damage from your laptop. And so if someone runs into you or something, it's going to damage it a bit. So I don't really find that very confident. Maybe if I had like a 11-inch MacBook Air, I would feel a little bit different, but I don't think I would because, again, when you have it on the back, like the Peak Design or any other bag, you can actually, you know that there's a lot of padding in between whatever's going to hit you and your laptop. I know some people enjoy the way they did it, but it just doesn't really make sense to me. If I had to change it, I would say just get rid of all those flaps, that elasticity. Like when you open up the bag from the back, get rid of all that stuff on the flap, like that, those two pockets and the back mesh, and just put a dedicated laptop sleeve there. That way, because you're gonna have two zippers at the top anyways, you could just unzip the top and then you have access to your laptop. I think that makes the most sense instead of putting it in the front. So That's a real big bummer for me. But like I said, it's okay. Like it works. It's just I don't really like it. So okay, so that was the main complaint I had, and then there's some smaller complaints I had. There's a ton of straps here, so when you use the bag, there's a lot of these straps that are just hanging around. You could cut them, but I don't really want to do that, so I've been getting elastics and just kind of coiling them up. But especially on the front, you have this really long strap, and so those kind of get in the way a lot. And also, having the storage be all on this flap, the more stuff you put in it, the less likely you'll open it, because it gets kind of full and kind of heavy, and so when you flap it open, it just kind of flops around. Like if you put a bunch of stuff in here, that's where your main compartment or your main storage is besides the photo cube. So when you start using it, you'll start to really understand, like, moving this back and forth is kind of annoying. I know for the adventure pack, there's storage in the front instead of just this one pocket. And so that's a big advantage that I think over the athlete pack. But I mean, it's not that big a deal. It's, how often are you going to open up the top? Not too often. And if you are, it might be just already down. So not that bad. Those are my two main complaints about the bag. You just have to know, just fell over. You just have to know that this bag is a hiking bag first with the photo cube and not a travel bag. And so with Peak Design's bag, that is specifically made for traveling and not really hiking. And so this isn't going to get you through an airport seamlessly. You're not going to have access to all the things you need. But if you need to carry stuff up a mountain and do it comfortably, this is probably the best you got. For Peak Design, it does the best for travel. I traveled with the 30-liter bag, and it was phenomenal. It fit under my chair, and I was able to get to everything without a hitch, like my Switch. I was able to get to my laptop without any issue. Everything was where it needs to be. And if I needed to grab my camera, it was always there available. You can't do that with this bag, absolutely. If you have to grab your camera, you're out of luck. You have to pull off your whole backpack and then grab it. And so that's not the bag, but that's primarily what I do is hiking. So travel it was a kind of a second thought, which is exactly what this bag is. You can use it for travel, but it's a second thought. So you won't have access to your camera. Getting your laptop's going to be an issue. But you'll be comfortable going around the airport with it, so it's not terrible, but it's just a second thought. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with the bag. So I'll give you some conclusions in a second. All right, some conclusions. So this bag is $400, and that comes with a hard recommendation because it's so expensive, but it's also a pretty niche product, right? It's for a photographer that does hiking in mind, and that is their primary reason for purchasing it. And so for that, it does exactly what I need when I need it, but when I'm traveling with it, I'm reminded of its shortcomings. So I don't really like doing a rating, but the asking price of $400 is very steep. I think I've gotten about $300 worth out of it. So with that in mind, it's a recommendation, but it's really not unless you are specifically that type of person that needs this kind of thing. Also, the Adventure Pack is the exact same price, and it has far superior storage ability, especially in the front flap, and also how it opens up like a book instead of like that. And so I would recommend that one especially if you shoot on a DSLR like I do. I think in hindsight, I should have gone with the Adventure Pack because I know now how well the weight is distributed with the waist strap, and all that distribution is on the bigger pack as well. And I think I would have been able to afford the extra £1.5 or whatever. But I went with the lighter pack, and there's no clear winner. It's just, I think I would have enjoyed the more storage. So the recommendation would be if you mirrorless and you do hiking, athlete pack 100%. If you do DSLRs and you're a larger person, 100% you got to go with the Adventure Pack over the athlete pack. And if you do travel, you might want to look into another bag. I think the Peak Design really nailed it on travel, especially the new one, if you want to look into that one. But that one is heavy, and it has that same strap mechanism that won't take off any weight, 100%. So it's a very niche product, and if you are into hiking and you are primarily just a hiker that does photography, then yes, this bag is phenomenal and it'll last you. I'm not really on the market for another bag, but this one definitely, I'm very happy with the purchase. And also, it has to be said, I spoke to the owner and I was waiting for the medium frame to come in, and he didn't know when the new frames would be made. And so he's like, just buy the large one and I'll ship you out something special. And so I bought the large one, fully expecting that I would just get just the large one and then try to deal with it. But he sent me 2 frames. The small frame is, I guess, an experiment for him, and it worked out fine because I'm smaller stature. I think the medium frame was for 5'6", and I'm like 5'4", 5'5", and so I was just under it. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll just send you this one." So nothing added to the price, and so it's phenomenal. You have the lifetime warranty through Atlas. The guy is awesome. It's a small company. It's all made in the U.S. If that matters to you, definitely an awesome experience customer-wise. I don't expect any issues if I have to return it or if I have to get it exchanged. Phenomenal. I've had it for about a year now. It's gone up and down so many mountain trails already. It looks the same as I did when I purchased it, and it also comes with a rain cover. I didn't really show that. I guess I'll show that right now. So on the bottom, it's actually really cool. I've never really used it because I haven't gotten caught in the rain yet, but on the bottom there's a zipper and there's a rain cover included. And so usually that's like another like $30 or $40. Peak Design doesn't include it. Pro DSLR and the in-case doesn't include it. No bag really includes the rain cover. So that having included, you don't really, and it's a stored away. I even forgot I had it. Honestly, it's a good peace of mind that if I get caught in the rain when I'm hiking, I'm fine. So yeah, it's a great purchase, and thanks for watching, guys. Hey guys, thank you for watching such a long video about a backpack. If it helps you make a decision, or if you like the video, please give us a thumbs up. If you love the video, please consider subscribing. I want to create content that I wish I had when I was looking at expensive camera gear, and if that interests you, please do subscribe, and I look to see you in the next video. My previous video that you can check out is a review of the Polar Pro from Peter McKinnon, and so that variable ND filter and whether or not that's worth it. So check it out if you haven't, and I hope to see you in the next video.